Welcome into another live edition of the Danny Sancomb Show. We got a packed house here today, joined by sophomore Zyan Collins, freshman Luke House, and also freshman Babatunde Ajike. So definitely a packed house here today. Talked to Coach, definitely wanted to bring more players on the show after last week, after we caught up on all the games from winter break and on. And we've got a full house here today. We're going to talk to all the guys here today, ask them a few easy questions, and then bring on Coach to talk about the Edinboro game and preview the upcoming games this week. So we'll start off with you, Zyan, the returning player here, sophomore. Prolific season last year for a freshman. Averaged 16.3 points, 5.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists, three-time freshman of the week. So, and then, you scored in double figures 25 times last season in 27 games. Yes, what did it feel like stepping up in that kind of role in your first year here?
I didn't really know what my first year was going to be. So when I first started playing, I was kind of nervous, and then just felt I wouldn't say easy, but it was easier to transition. I was ready for it. So it was just a good experience last year because we didn't really have a team. So I know what it feels like when you don't have a team and when you don't really win, and then I know what it feels like when you do have a team and when you win. So that's just feels good.
Yeah, big change from last year. I mean, you're talking about, the team playing with mostly 7 guys last year, guys like Zyan, and Brent Pegram having to play massive minutes for the team to, keep them in games. And, this year we're bringing 10 incoming freshmen, including Luke and Baba here, so it's great to have a team with a lot more depth this season. So, Zyan, going into the offseason, what was one of the big things that you wanted to improve with your game? I felt like you're a pretty dynamic player. You kind of can do it all. You shoot from the outside and you like to drive in and make your own shot.
I wanted to improve in my three-point shooting and my free throws, especially my free throws, because those are free, so you gotta hit those, which are improving. Still gotta work on my jump shot, but it's coming along and shoot it with confidence. But I was just working on mainly getting stronger, shooting, free throws.
Yeah, definitely. So Baba, coming in here, from Camden Catholic, set multiple school records, over 1,500 points in your college career. You're coming from a pretty athletic family as well. Can you give us a little background on your brother and sisters, their career, and then you now here?
I was a football player to begin with, and my sister played basketball. She played D1 at Mount St. Mary's. So watching her when I was younger, had me familiarized with the game, but I never really took it that serious until my brother started to fall in love with it, and I started to go to his games, and then I realized that I could be pretty good at it once I gave it a try. So, my sister, she actually had a heart condition, and she couldn't play her last 2 years at Mount St. Mary's. So, I don't know, I kind of wore number 25 in high school because of her number that she wore in college. So, I don't know, those two of the most influential people in my life. So being able to play basketball is kind of a tribute to them in a way.
Talk about this coaching staff. They came out to see you a lot. They definitely wanted you to be part of this program. What did Danny Sancomb, Bridgman sell you on to come here?
It was more so the fact that they told me that they wanted me. It's something special about being a recruit and being actually wanted by a school. So. Having them come out 5 hours to come watch me play in some pretty packed house games where it was special to me. It was very humbling in a way, and I don't know. They just Coach Sancomb was really just hard on the fact that the staff wanted me to be a part of the rebuild here. So that definitely helped my decision.
Yeah, definitely. So Luke, getting into you, and now having a very strong season for a freshman, averaging 13.7 points, 2.7 assists per game, also sitting second on the team in rebounds, 11 games in double figures. Coach tells me a lot during the show that you've made one of the best transitions from high school to the college game. How do you feel like you've attributed to that?
Playing in the Catholic League in high school, I think I wouldn't say it was easy, but it definitely helped a lot. And then when I got here, in the preseason, Coach Sancomb and Coach Bridgman, Coach Duffy, they really helped my defense and just offensive game to get ready for the season, and I think that helped a lot.
Now, you're actually 11th in Division II and are pacing the conference in minutes per game, so you're out in the court more than anybody else in this league currently, and you're ranking 3rd in three-pointers made in the conference. Have you always felt that you've had a strong perimeter game, and what's it like playing this amount of minutes and so young in your career?
Yeah, I think I've always been, like my whole life, basically a perimeter guy, shooter. And playing this many minutes, I mean, they get us in good shape, so I feel like I'm in good enough shape to play all those minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Zyan and Brent can definitely speak towards that, playing about 38 minutes a game last year. So getting back to you, Zyan, named the PSAC West Defensive Athlete of the Week this year. You know, how important is it to you that you're recognized by the conference, and how important is it to, you know, play both sides of the ball?
I think it's good. I actually, like, that's a really big goal for me, like, Defensive Player of the Week, because, like, you know, a lot of people don't look at defense. And, like, especially me, like, I don't know, I just feel like I get a lot of hands on balls. And, like, yeah, I just think it's a really good, I like that they added it this year because, you know, it gives those defensive players who can also, I mean, they can put the ball in the hole, but it just gives those players more recognition, which they deserve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, the conference made a transition to add a Defensive Athlete of the Week this year, and we did away with the Freshman of the Week. You know, I always liked the Freshman of the Week. We won it a lot last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we won it, I think, 8 times last year. So it's good. I also think it's a good opportunity to see the young talent in the league as well. But, you know, now with the Defensive Athlete of the Week, we're getting more notice on both sides of the ball and seeing what people can do. So, Zyan, you know, six straight games here in double figures now. You're averaging 18.7 points, 4.8 rebounds over a 6-game stretch now. You know, coaches have talked about you battling a toe injury earlier in this year. How do you feel like the last couple weeks have been to get in a groove here?
I think I played with it well, honestly, because, like, you know, it has its good days and its bad days, and it just, you know, you got to play through it. I mean, there's not really much we can do at this point. I mean, off season we can rest it, but I think I handled it well so far, and I mean, it's just gotta continue to battle every day, honestly.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So going back to you, Baba, here, you know, you scored in double figures in 3 of your first 5 games with the program, including a career-high 17 points against Lock Haven, and now currently averaging 17.6 points, 4.4 rebounds per game. You faced the preseason injury. Now you're dealing with the thumb injury, as we can see here. Describe the challenges of battling this adversity so young into the season and as you continue to grow as a player.
I mean, like, before I got here, I was never really, like, injured, like, ever. I've never had, like, rolled ankles and, like, small things like that, but I've never really been out, like, for extended periods of time. So in the preseason, when I had the concussion, it was very frustrating because I felt as if I was really starting to transition well right before my injury. And, I mean, I missed, like, pretty much the whole preseason. And just watching the guys put in the work, it was hard to watch without being out there with them. But I felt like when I got back, we had a couple weeks before the season actually started. I felt that I did a pretty good job in getting back up to speed. And then the whole thumb injury, it was disheartening, but, you know, it's part of the game. So I think that just staying mentally tough throughout the whole process has really helped me. I mean, when I got back, I didn't feel as if I was up to speed, but practicing hard with my teammates and going out and playing every day really helped me get back up to speed now.
Yeah, let's talk about, like, last game here. You had a pretty big game against Edinboro. You know, it was good to see you get extensive minutes for the first time in about three or four games. You scored 15 points, 6 of 10 from the field, 6 rebounds, 2 steals in 22 minutes off the bench. How did you feel in that game overall, and how impactful were you?
It just felt really good to be able to get back. I felt like myself again. I mean, when we played against Shepherd, I got out there and I had a couple turnovers. I didn't feel like I was playing well enough, and my teammates helped pick me up. Coach Sancomb helped pick me up, and against Edinboro, I felt like I started to get back in my groove a little bit. I was getting offensive rebounds. I was finding my teammates. My teammates were finding me. So it felt like myself again, and it felt really good to be able to contribute not only on the offensive end, but on the defensive end as well.
Yeah, Luke, let's talk about your last 7 games. You're averaging over 15 points a game, over 6 rebounds, over 3 assists, and you have 6 games in double figures. You know, and you've also been a PSAC Defensive Athlete of the Week as well. You seem like you've really been impactful for this team as a freshman, and it's good to see that from, you know, Danny always says that he wants to build teams young, and it seems like that's definitely happening here. So, as I asked Baba earlier, you know, why was Cal U the spot to continue your college career?
Really because Coach Sancomb, he recruited me hard. He really put in the time to drive up to Philly and watch my games and even come to my practices. So it just felt like it was right because he really wanted me, and he said I had a chance to have a great career, so I thought it was the best fit.
Now, when people look at your numbers, Coach Sancomb always says he wants freshmen playing like sophomores and juniors or seniors. He wants them playing at the best of their ability. What has some of the hardest adjustments been for you coming into the college game?
It's a lot faster, and of course it's longer. The game's 8 minutes longer than high school, and the guys like you're playing against are better, but then you have better teammates, so it's easier to get open looks because you have like Zyan and Brent creating for you, and the guys you're playing against are a lot stronger, so it's harder to finish inside, but you figure out, pick your spots, and it gets easier as it goes on.
Well, it definitely seems like it's been working for you. Like I said, you have 6 of your last 7 games in double figures, so it seems like they've definitely been finding you. So back to you, Zyan. The team's been showing a lot of success lately. You've won 4 of your last 5 games. You're expected to be sort of a leader on this team, even as a sophomore, because you play such extensive minutes as a freshman. What's the message from Coach Sancomb to keep the success going?
Really, his message is he always wants us to work hard, do the right thing and work hard. That's really his main message, and I try to do the right thing and work hard. And if I don't see something, or if I don't, if my teammates, if I see they can do something better, in practice, I'll let them know. And if I see something that they don't see, I'll let them know, and they'll be like, that's positive most of the time.
So your running mate Brent Pegram reaches a 1,000-point milestone against Edinboro. What's it like being in the backcourt with him, and how has he helped develop your game?
I think it's really cool that he reached it, honestly, because, not a lot of people get to play in college, and not a lot of people score 1,000 points, especially in college. So I think it's cool, but, I like, playing with Brent. He works hard. He works really hard, so he, makes me want to work hard because he's in the gym so much. So I try to stay after, get some shots up, whether that's free throws, shooting with Nick, or, something slight, but I just try to add getting more shots up because of his work ethic.
Yeah, so now for you guys, both the freshmen, we'll start with Baba. How do you feel like Brent, Zyan, and Jermaine have all helped your college game?
Having them already go through it as a freshman really helps. All 3 of them started as a freshman. Brent when he was at Wheeling, and then Zyan and Jermaine when they were here. Having them in your corner really helps because it really helped my transition. We came up here in April for the first time. That was the first time I met them, and from the jump, I already knew we were going to be friends. So being friends off the court really helps chemistry on the court, and they're always in my ear telling me, Zyan always tells me some things he sees in practice, Jermaine, Brent. So having them in your corner really helps in the transition to college.
And what about you, Luke?
Yeah, on the court, when you make a mistake or you're down, you're missing shots, they'll always pick you up. And if maybe you don't see something, you could have cut there or something, you did something wrong, they'll tell you, and it'll help you get better.
Yeah. Well, you'll be able to see all 3 of these guys in action tomorrow as we're heading out to Seton Hill in nearby Greensburg, Pennsylvania. I'd like to also take a moment to recognize all 3 of these athletes. All of them were featured on the 80 honor roll for the fall semester, which is a great feat, including Luke, who had a 4.0 GPA. And it's great to see the men's basketball team having the highest GPA among all men's sports in the fall. So it's a great accomplishment for all of them. We're going to take a break here on the Danny Sancomb Show. We're going to bring on Coach, discuss the Edinboro game and the upcoming games this week. We'll be right back.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here's about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Have you seen the new Cal U Vulcan logo around? Have you wondered where to get gear featuring it? Then go to calvulcans.com and click shop. Log on and browse a full selection of men's shirts, women's shirts, pullovers, hoodies, and more. All items feature customization with the new Cal U Vulcan logo and wordmark. The site also features a full selection of hats, tailgating items, and accessories. Don't be the last person to sport new Cal U Vulcan gear. Go to calvulcans.com today.
Pride and passion drives the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. From 55 NCAA championship teams, 294 individual national champs, and counting. Who's next? Make the PSAC yours. PSAC Proud is winning in athletics and in the classroom. Over 3,100 PSAC student athletes are honored as scholar athletes. It's a perfect mix of athletics and academics. It's time to make the PSAC yours.
Welcome back to the Danny Sancomb Show. Once again, thanks for the athletes for coming in so early this morning and giving us solid answers throughout. At this point, I'd like to welcome in Coach Danny Sancomb.
Thanks for having me.
So, Coach, I just mentioned before the break, congratulating the guys on making it on the Cal U 80 honor roll. As a coach, how does it feel that your team had the highest GPA among men's sports and you had 10 athletes holding a 3.0 or higher?
Great. I think that says a lot about the guys we have in our program. Obviously, Cal, we do a great job with study halls here, and Miss Sabo does an unbelievable job setting that up. But the guys actually have to do the work, and they're committed to that. I tell them every day, you're living your life, go be the best you can be. And obviously, the school is why they're here. That supersedes, and that's the first and foremost, most important thing for them. And it's just great to see them excelling in the classroom. Very proud of them. We, as a coaching staff, were very, very happy for our guys this semester because they did a wonderful job in the classroom.
Yeah, it's definitely great to see success on and off the court for a team. Even with a small roster, it only takes one kid to affect the grade point average either way, and everybody pulled their own weight this semester, and it showed. So, Coach, we're going to dive right into the Edinboro game here. A win for the team, 108-71. But Edinboro jumps out to a 13-0 lead, forces you into an early timeout to regroup. We talked about a 13-0 deficit against Slippery Rock, now another one. But, what was the message to the team once again, early in this game?
Well, we didn't want to panic because I thought the points that they scored, they earned. They made some tough shots. We were following the scouting report, but they made plays. And that happens through the course of a game. When you have good players, they're going to make some shots. And, we called a timeout. We didn't want to panic. We just said we wanted to make sure we get a little bit better defensively. The offense, I thought we were getting pretty good shots. They didn't go in. And our guys stayed calm. And, we weathered the storm, and we were able to make a nice run on our own.
Yeah. Got the highlights playing here. We're about to see a big milestone feat here from, I guess the player that came with you all the way from Wheeling. There it is right there, Brent Pegram hitting 1,000 points there on a three-pointer early in that contest, and he definitely played a huge role in the game. So, Coach, as you described, the Vulcans make a 12-0 rally. You eventually tie the game 22-22, and that's only 8 minutes into the game. So it didn't even feel like the team regrouped very quickly, and you still have so much game left there. Team continues to pressure, go on an 18-0 run after that. 7-12 shooting, so very efficient. You take a 50-39 lead into halftime, and then I felt your team really came out strong in the second half. You never really gave them a chance to get back into that game. It was better than the Shepherd game where they kind of came back into it, and your team had a really complete second half. Even though you're trading blow for blow, your team stayed in it.
Yeah, I think that's part of the growth process. We talked about the Shepherd in the second half, and we knew Shepherd would make some shots. They do that as well as anybody in our league. But one of our goals coming back into halftime for Edinboro is to continue to be very good offensively and be better defensively. And we were much better defensively in the second half. I think we held them to 29% shooting in the second half. And offensively, we moved the ball. When we move the ball and you see 5-6 guys scoring double figures, we are really hard to beat at that point.
Yeah, Coach, so Brent Pegram, game high 30 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and probably the most important stat, 0 turnovers in that game, 8 of 14 from the field, 7 3-pointers made out of that. Zyan Collins, another big game for him, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. And then, freshman Babatunde Ajike makes his return. Really, he'd been playing limited minutes. You're trying to get him back into the game flow. You really let him loose off the bench, giving him 22 minutes. He gives you 15 points, 6 rebounds.
Yeah, it's funny. Obviously Brent getting his 1,000-point, very, very happy for him. Well deserved. Been doing this for a long time. Brent has tremendous work ethic and puts a lot of time into it. And when you do that, you're rewarded. I always tell guys sometimes it's not short term, it's over a period of time, but the good will outweigh the bad if you work very, very hard. So I'm very, very happy for him, and he deserved it. Zyan has been very, very consistent the entire year on both ends of the basketball. We need him to be good on both ends of the basketball, and I just feel like he's really playing at a high level and getting, obviously, Baba with his thumb. I mean, he's been out for almost a month as far as it's just, he's got to deal with the pain. The pain's gotten a little bit better, but, it's going to be difficult for him the entire year. But I think he's mentally tough enough to fight through it. He was great off the bench. Just his toughness alone. He was 6 of 10, and everybody sees the 15 points, but his toughness for rebounding and taking charges, he's a winner. So getting him back and out there really, really gives us another dynamic to our team. He's so physically strong. He can guard multiple positions. So, we're hoping he can continue to get better and better with his thumb and help us even more moving forward into January and February.
Yeah, it was good to see him getting back into his groove. It really seemed like he said, it is the first time he's felt really into it, really able to do what he wanted to do in a while here. So Tim Smith gives you 12 points. Jermaine Hall gives you a little bit of everything and gives you 13 points. And even Luke House, although he wasn't in double figures, 8 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, so really moving the ball very well. So great game all around from everybody. Now, Coach, we talked before the game talking about Coleman and Simpson for Edinboro. They were averaging combined nearly 35 points a game, so you knew they were going to have some effect on the game. What was the game plan going in? You held them to 24 points combined.
They're both great players and have the ability to score the basketball in every facet of the game. So you have to work hard defensively. Obviously guys are guarding them, but it's team-oriented to make things as difficult as possible for them. And I thought, Zyan and Brent drew the matchups, did a good job, but their teammates did a great job helping and making things just difficult, not giving them easy shots. Those guys can get it going. So I thought when they scored for the majority of the time, it was over a contest. And like I said, they're great players. They're going to make some contested shots. But I thought we were able to limit their easy looks to make it a little bit more difficult on them.
Yeah, Cal, you 48% from the field, 47% from three-point range, 30 points off turnovers, 27 second chance points. And like Coach said, held Edinboro to 29% in the second half. They only shot 39% for the game and very limited turnovers and second chance points for the team. Coach, you talked about ball movement earlier. Season high 28 assists on 38 shots made. I mean, that's great efficiency. It shows that your guys are making looks for everybody out there. How much is ball movement stressed in practice?
All the time. I tell guys, if you can get as excited for making a great pass to a teammate, that's what it's about. That's winning basketball. And I think we have guys that have that mentality. I think, everybody wants to score. I get that. But, setting up a teammate for an easy basket should be excitable. That's why we shot 48% from the 2 and 47% from 3, because we took great shots. And maybe somebody had a good shot and they kicked it over to somebody else for a great shot. And that's just winning basketball. And I think our guys understand that. I think our guys, just their attitudes and their work ethic to want to win, it's so fun to, coach them. We're very, very young. And to have that many assists on a field goal is exciting for our coaching staff, because I really feel like our guys are getting it and understanding spacing a little bit better, understanding our offense a little bit better. And I think we still have a lot of room to continue to grow as a basketball team moving forward.
Yeah, Coach, we referenced earlier how, Brent Pegram reaches 1,000 career points on a game high, 1,000 career points, game high 30 points in the game, and we had him on the show previous. He credits a lot to his time as a freshman at Wheeling and how Pat Mose and Haywood Highsmith helped his development as a player. Discuss why he was the guy that you want to develop your program around.
He's so tough, and his willingness to win are second to none. He just gives everything he has, and you see him in the games, and you can see he plays hard in the games, but in practice, it's the same. He's very consistent with his actions. He's a great leader because he shows up every day and works extremely hard, and he has great rapport with his teammates, whether they're freshmen, sophomores, or juniors. he relates to them. He talks to them. And he is our leader. We have other guys that lead as well, but he does it in a way that I think everybody can relate to. And again, when we were together, at Wheeling, I just saw something in his freshman year. Like, he just kept getting better as the year went on and on and on. And then you go into the gym and you see after practice or before practice, he's in there putting in extra work, and he's there with Coach Duffy, getting shots up, all the time, and with his teammates. So we're very fortunate to have him. Bringing him from Wheeling to Cal made the transition very, very easy. He's really kind of let the guys know this is how Coach Sancomb is. You work hard, you're going to get better. Listen to what the coaching staff is saying, and they've bought into that. And we've got 15 other guys that are very similar to Brent in their actions. So, I feel like our program has a long way to go, but we're going to move in the right direction because of our leadership from him and the other guys we have in the program and what they bring to the program.
Yeah, things definitely seem to be progressing in the right direction. Now, I was with you when I was grabbing you for media, and I think one of the big things, I heard you stress to the team about Brent's game is, he didn't come in knowing everything right away. And I think you said, he's developed parts of his game that weren't great, and now they're good, like his three-point shooting.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's about. I think, I tell people all the time, you have to understand what you're good at, and you have to understand what you need to improve at. And you really got to continue to work on what you're good at, and then you have to take your areas where you're not as strong at and improve those areas. And I think that's what great players do, and they can take the coaching, and I'm very honest with the guys. I tell them all the time, I'm not the coach to go play for if you want to hear how great you are, but we're going to tell you what you need to do, and we're going to help you work on it. But he just goes and works on it, like he's a full-time basketball player. When the summer is in, he's working out 3-4 times a day. He's in the weight room. His body's changed. He gets it, and he wants to continue to get better, and he will, just because of his attitude and his willingness to put in the work. I don't think it's fun to get up at 6:30 every morning and get 400, 500 shots up, at the time. But I think it's fun when you're in the game and you're making threes, and you're helping your team win basketball games. And I think ultimately that's what he's about. He wants to win. I know that 1,000 points is great, but if you ask Brent personally, what's the most important thing to him is winning basketball games. And when you have guys like that, and we have, like I said, 15 other guys like that, you're going to win basketball games.
Yeah, he definitely embodies what a student athlete is. He's also does great in the classroom, also part of the Cal U80 honor roll, and was on it last year. So it's great to see him. He's not just a basketball player, he's also, a student. Coach, we talk, the team's on a roll now. You won 4 of your last 5 games. Things are trending in an upright direction, and now you're about to hit a 3-game road span. How do you keep this team hungry?
One game at a time. Focus in on our next opponent, which is Seton Hill. Don't look past them. Do your job every day in practice. Do your job when you're in the weight room. Just being consistent with your actions. I think, great teams are consistent how they play, but they're consistent with how they practice and how they carry themselves. So that's our message as a coaching staff to them. Stay consistent, stay humble, stay hardworking. We have a lot of basketball still to be played, not to get too high, not to get too low, even keel, one game at a time, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Yeah, definitely. So, Coach, we're going to take a look here at the PSAC West standings after the weekend here. So, as we can see, IUP, Pitt, Johnstown remain up top at 8-1 in conference play. Both teams playing extremely well right now. Cal U and Mercier's tied in 3rd place at 6-3. Gannon played IUP, so they dropped the game down, moved to 5-4. Slippery Rock picks up a good win over Seton Hill, moves to 6-3. And then you have Edinboro, Seton Hill, and Clarion. Coach, so we talked about Pitt Johnstown defeats Clarion. They've won 6 straight games now. Another 3-point victory, so another very close game. It seems like, they beat Edinboro by 3, now they beat Clarion by 3. So they've been, very, very close games. Slippery Rock defeats Seton Hill 78-54, and then Mercier's defeats, or IUP defeats Gannon 85-64, but it was only about a 3-point game at half, so IUP wins their 4th in a row. And then we'll take a quick look in at the East standings here, and Slippery Rock keeps it going. Shippensburg keeps it going, 8-1 with Westchester there. Shippensburg won 5 in a row. They defeated East Stroudsburg. East Stroudsburg's now dropped 3 in a row. They're down to 4-5 in conference. And then we got Mercyhurst defeating Kutztown there, 86-84 in conference. But it's very clumped there at the bottom. It'll be very good to see how it develops as the weeks go out here. Coach, we're looking at Wednesday here, upcoming against Seton Hill. But for other games on the slate, Gannon's heading to Clarion. IUP's going to Edinboro, Millersville at Slippery Rock, Mercyhurst at Pitt Johnstown. That will be a very interesting game. And then East Stroudsburg heading to Shepherd. So, Coach, let's dive into the Seton Hill game here, a series that was split last year. You won on the road, dropped by 2 points at home. Very close game. You're looking at a Seton Hill team that's 2-10 this season, 1-8 in conference. Their lone win over Clarion. As I talked to you before, it's the beginning of a 3-game road trip. How important is it to get off to the right foot?
Yeah, we want to play. I mean, you got to go on the road. Playing on the road is a little bit different. We've had some success doing that, which always makes it nice, but our focus has to be good. We had a really good practice yesterday. We need to do that again. We got the game plan in. We need to execute it and be ready to play. They can present some problems. They've got good size. They got the ability to score from a scorer. So we have to be able to negate and not let them do the things that they do well if we want to win the basketball game.
Yeah, it seems like some of their strengths is they're not going to foul a whole lot in the game. They like Shepherd, don't turn over the ball too much. But I feel like, when I looked at the numbers, they seem to struggle from perimeter defense, and that seems to be one of the lanes that you've been having a lot of success as of late.
Yeah, I mean, but it's all predicated if we're going to be able to move the ball and get those guys to stretch their defense a little bit and get good looks. And if we can do that, we'll be in good shape. But like I said, the 2-10 record, you can't go by that in conference. It's hard to win. I've been doing this for a long time. I think being ready to play every single night is important. And if you're a really good team, sometimes you have some up and downs. If you want to be a great team, you're going to be consistent through the year. You may have some games you don't shoot it as well, but your attitude, your work ethic is consistent, and that gets you over the hump when you don't have one of your best games, maybe shooting the basketball. I think when you shoot the ball very, very well, it makes the game a lot easier. I think, the great teams are able to win when they're not shooting the ball particularly well in that night. And that's where we're building at, and I feel like we're in a good place, with that. Our rebounding's getting better. Our half-court defense is getting better. And hopefully we can continue to improve in those areas. And if we do, we'll have a chance to win night in and night out.
Yeah, it definitely seems like we've been, on the better side of the rebound battle as of late. So that definitely, and that's one of the biggest parts Coach Sancomb stresses is winning that battle. So, Coach, let's talk about a senior in Nathan Davis there for Seton Hill. He's definitely the leader of this team. Trevor Blondin leaves last season. He was a senior. He was probably both of them combined could average close to 40, 50 points a game. I mean, he averaged 21 points against you, over 12 rebounds. He really kind of did it all last season. I mean, what's the game plan going in against such a strong player?
Yeah, he's doing it again this year. He's a player, again, a great player that can score in a lot of different ways. So when you're playing against a guy like that, your energy and enthusiasm has to be very, very high, ready to go. And he's going to make some tough shots. He is. But if you can force him to take, tough shots and don't let him get anything easy to kind of get into a rhythm, once he gets into a rhythm, he's hard to stop. So, we have to be ready from the start of the game to the end of the game to make it very difficult on him.
Yeah, Nate Davis here averaging almost 20 points a game, almost 6 rebounds. And, I mean, don't put him at the line. He's shooting 87% from the free throw line, so it's almost automatic for him. And he was all PSAC West second team last year as a guard. Coach, let's dive into this weekend's slate a little bit here. I know, like we said, we don't want to look too far ahead, but it's good to have you on the show now to talk about the game. We're traveling out to IUP on Saturday after that game for a night game against currently number 9 ranked, but expected to move up in the rankings once they come out probably today in IUP. Last year, as we said, you had a team that was very limited, and you're honestly playing one of the best teams year in and year out in this conference and in the West. They're 13-1 this season, 8-1 in conference, 4 straight wins, 1 lone loss to Shippensburg. What are you seeing on film, and how do you keep your team from looking ahead and getting ready for this game?
Yeah, we're not looking ahead. I've watched them a little bit on film. We'll prepare for Seton Hill, and then when we get through Seton Hill, really focus our attention the next 2 days on IUP. A great program. They've been not only in our conference, you mentioned a upper level team, but they've been one of the best teams in the region for the last 13 or 14 years. So we know if we want to go up there and win, we're going to have to execute and play well. Are we capable of doing that? Absolutely. But we will have to play our game to go up there and do that. They prevent a lot of challenges for teams. They defend very well. Offensively, they can create some matchup problems. So, I think our versatility, hopefully we can match up with them. But we'll get into them Wednesday night after we finish with Seton Hill. The coaching staff will, and prepare, Thursday, Friday, and look forward to going up there and playing Saturday. Anytime you're playing a, top 10 team in the country, you should be excited about that. That's a great opportunity.
Yeah, definitely in a venue like that. They always pack the place, and it seems like a good venue. 55-10 at home over the last 4 seasons, so it's definitely a place they like to play. I didn't mean to get too far ahead, Coach, looking ahead, but we talked about the span of playing 4 games in 8 days. What does it feel like now to be now we're in the conference rhythm of Wednesday, Saturday?
Yeah, I think that's just great for our league. I think, the product can be affected a little bit playing that many games in a short period of time. That's a difficult thing to do, especially when you're coming off of 8 days of complete off where guys aren't practicing, and you lose a little bit of rhythm. So I'm glad we were able to get through that and win our games and stay healthy. And now it's very routinish. So, Wednesday, Saturday, 2 days to prepare, 2 days to prepare. I think is a good. I think it's great for our league because I think the product is, a little bit more rest. It's really hard to play, 4 games in 8 days, but, everybody had to do it, and everybody did do it. And now we're at a point now playing twice a week. I think from a coaching standpoint, it's a little bit better from prepare. And I think for our guys, and most importantly, they get to rest a little bit more and, getting that rhythm of playing Wednesday, Saturday.
Yeah, so, Wednesday at Seton Hill and then at IUP. Coach, we talked about, we're just going to look at a couple players. We won't elaborate too much on it from IUP. Armani Foster stepping up as a huge role player now for them. Was back in the system for a little bit, redshirted, and then was a bench player. He's really coming into form, 18.6 points a game, 4 rebounds. Great incoming player to watch out for in this game coming up here. And then all led by Malik Miller, the guard. He's averaged 16 points a game and 5 rebounds, 3 assists. So he's really doing it all as well. He's a first-team all-conference player from last year as well. We're going to take a quick look at the upcoming schedule here before we end the show here. 3 straight road games for this team coming up. CUTV, WCAL making all the trips for these games, which is great. We'll be able to provide our own product and our own call for the game. How great is it to have this crew here, Coach Sancomb, to cover these games for you?
It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. They are so supportive, whether we're on the road, at home, and then the product that they put out there is second to none. So I know our guys love it. I know our parents and alumni love it. I hear so many great people talk about what they do, and we are so appreciative of all their hard work, and we love them, and I hope they continue to support us and come out and do the great job that they do.
Yeah, so at Seton Hill at 7:30, at IUP on Saturday at 7:30, then a trip to Gannon, and then back home for Mercyhurst and Clarion. Like I said, CUTV, WCAL on the calls for those games. We always appreciate their support. They've done over 100 shoots this year, whether it's been basketball, football, even in studio stuff, coaches shows, all the rest there. So, and even do local high school football. So we always appreciate their coverage. It's always good to be able to provide the fans with another avenue to reach the game. We always like to have we can always rely on them to give us something at the end of the day for people to watch or listen to. So we really appreciate Gary Smith and the crew for all their help. We're going to wrap it up here on the Danny Sancomb Show today. I'd like to thank the athletes for coming out today early in the morning and discussing basketball with me. And make sure you hit the bell notification and subscribe to CUTV Sports 1. Thank you, Coach Sancomb, for once again coming to the show. Back in action tomorrow night in Greensburg, Pennsylvania against Seton Hill at 7:30. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching.